issue 5. Issue 5, for some weird reason, is the first appearance of Yelena Belova, also known the Invaders. So, this is a team-up book of Captain America, Namor, Human Torch, Bucky. Hi, I'm Glenn Simpson, and I've collected comics for over 40 years, and I'm showing off my collection one box at a time. Today, we're looking at box number 85. We're going to pick up on some more Infinity stuff from where we left off on the last box. Let's see, we'll be looking at some Inhumans and eventually make our way into the Invaders. So, I'm so glad you're here. Please like the video, smash that button. Please leave a comment, let me know what you think, and be sure to subscribe so that you'll know when the next videos come out. So thank you so much for being here. If you'd like to see anything that's in between, inside the packs that I show, be sure to comment about that too. But otherwise, here we go with box 85. All right, so we're picking up where we left off a bit. Last time we finished up with the original Infinity Gauntlet. So this is the second Infinity Gauntlet that took place during Secret Wars. During that, they did a lot of these short series that had the same names as classic storylines or previous miniseries and things like that. So the actual story is a little bit different, but this is the same idea as the original. So Infinity Gauntlet 1 through 05 right there. Got Infinity Heist. So this is kind of a, as I recall, I mean, it's all about a heist, as it were, by some supervillains, and they seem to decide to time it during when all the heroes are busy with Infinity. So it was kind of a weak excuse, a weak tie-in, if I remember correctly. But it is a tie-in to the Infinity event. So that's issue 1 through issue 4. Got a little Spy Master, Whiplash, some of those guys. It's a humor thing, you know. It's a humorous series. All right, now over to something completely different. Infinity Inc. So, what is Infinity Inc? Infinity Inc. Is the story of the children of the original 1940s DC heroes. So those heroes get older, they settle down, they have kids. Sometimes it's some of their villains' kids. In some cases, it's not necessarily their kid, but it's a godchild or something like that. But basically, that next generation of heroes living on Earth 2, which is back pre-crisis, was the Earth where the heroes were first active during World War II. So we've got Power Girl, Jade, and Obsidian's not. Where's Obsidian? Anyway, Jade, the original Star Spangled Kid, who had gotten thrown forward in time. Nucleon, who was the godson of the Atom. Silver Scarab, the son of Hawkman. Of course, Huntress, the daughter of Batman and Catwoman. And Brainwave Jr., the son of the original villainous Brainwave. So, and they had first appeared. They had been thrown through time and appeared in All-Star Squadron. And then when they returned to the present, they got their own series. So, and this was, I believe, a direct-only series. You couldn't buy this on the newsstand. So, but this is issue 1 here. The first 10 issues or so, this is issue 4, are a throwback to an old JSA story about this river that if you drown in it, you don't die, but you become evil. And Ultra Humanite, which is one of their big villains, uses it to make some of the JSA members evil, and so that's what they're dealing with. So they think they're dead, but they're not. They're going to come back, because you come back as an evil zombie until you get cured. But anyway, because see, yeah, they're alive, but they're beating up the other guys. So what are we going to do about that? There, issue 5, issue 8. There. And issue 9. There's Obsidian. Then we get to issue 12. They're kind of go public. They decide not to be like all masked and secret identities and stuff. They're in Los Angeles, and they decide to just totally go public. Don Newton was doing the art. Don Newton had been doing a lot of Batman art, an amazing artist, and he passed away, which was really unfortunate. So then we get to, he did do issue 13 there with Thorn, secretly the mother of Jade and Obsidian. But when in his unfortunate passing, they handed the book over to this kid named Todd McFarlane and let him work on it. And he, of course, made a little bit of a name for himself. So this is his first cover. I think this issue was, he did, well, no, it just says Don Newton, so I guess Don Newton did all of that one. We've got the Infinity Inc. 14 with Todd McFarlane, his first cover at DC, right here. Let's see, we've got issue 15, another early Todd McFarlane art. We've got issue 16. So this is the first appearance of Mr. Bones. Mr. Bones will kind of hang out. He will be around for a while, longer than the rest of the people, his team that we're about to see. He becomes the head of the DEO, the Department of Extranormal whatever. And so he actually kind of remains more of a bureaucrat after a while than this whole costume thing that he's got going on right there. Got 17. So yeah, this is Helix is the rest of his. They all have the same kind of. They all got mutations from the same place, and they're all children of a scientist who mutated their genetics and stuff. Yeah, whatever. That's that. Then the Crisis hits. Crisis on Infinite Earths. So we've got a tie-in here. The infamous Crisis Red Skies going on. Mike Baer, maybe not as hot an artist as some of the others. Doing that cover. But we'll get McFarlane back. More pages, no ads. And we get the advent of, we got Rick Tyler, son of Rex Tyler, so another next generation JSA. He's the new Hourman, and oh shoot, I can't remember her name, but she becomes the new Dr. Midnight. She's notable for taking the dash out of the middle. She's just Dr. Midnight, like that. There. Issue 24. Star Spangled Kid and Johnny Thunder. So they were trying to kind of revamp the Johnny Thunder concept as well. Johnny Thunder had a 4-issue miniseries where she was basically just a detective in Los Angeles, and it really wasn't even clear from that series that she was on Earth 2 or whatever, but apparently she was, and she meets up with Infinity Inc. and runs through an adventure with them. Got 25. Got Yolanda Montez, the new Wildcat. So all of the originals are kind of getting new versions. There. 28. Mr. Bones has returned. Still got Todd McFarlane on art. The return of the Helix, and it's another one of those mutations from the same place as the whatever the Helix or the hybrid or whatever they called them, which is also what Wildcat is. Get to 32. The Psycho Pirate there, classic JSA villain. 33. Take an issue to learn more about the background on Obsidian, the son of Green Lantern and the Thorn. Issue 33. Issue 36. Got Jade going up against Solomon Grundy. Who of course was a Green Lantern foe, so he is initially very much not a fan of her, but they make friends, actually. Beauty and the Beast. 37, the origin of Northwind. Northwind was from a race of bird people that lived up in some mountains in a hidden city that I believe had been, was from an actual old Hawkman story. And so he was kind of the godson of the Hawks, Hawkman and Hawkwoman, and he had joined the team there. 37. Issue 40. Don't remember the plot on this one. A Star Spangled Kid had become Skyman. He didn't become Starman, he became Skyman at some point. So that's all of that. Issue 41, bringing back Johnny Thunder. In the same way that the classic Johnny Thunder had a Thunderbolt genie, we end up with Skyman and Johnny Thunder having a little genie. Oops, sorry. I think she did have that in the miniseries, but it was kind of she wasn't really in control. 44. So we lost Todd McFarlane, but Vince Argandesi on art. We got the Silver Scarab had died, I think, but then this kind of weird one shows up, something like that. Alright. 45. We have a team up with the new Teen Titans. So with the Crisis over, the Earth 1 and Earth 2 among others, have merged, and so they all now live in the same world. And so now it's much easier. It's just geography now for these people to team up. So there's a issue of New Teen Titans with the other part of this cover. There you go. Mike Gustovich doing art. Issue 48. Got the origin of Nuklon. He is the gods. Well, he's actually the. So there was an actual story in All-Star Squadron where, which go back to video probably 6. Yeah, 6. And I talk about this. But there was a guy, he had a daughter, a baby daughter. Al Pratt becomes her godfather, and then she grows up, and she has a son, and he grows up and has weird mutated powers that he kind of from his grandfather to become larger and big and strong and things like that. So that's Nuklon. There. Something down there. Issue 49. So Hector Hall, the Silver Scarab, as I mentioned, had died, and all of a sudden you got this guy in red and orange showing up. So the costume is that of let's see, the second Sandman, depending on how you count it. He's the Sandman of the 70s, Garrett Sanford. And we would find out that Hector Hall had not really died, but had been shunted over to this dimension that Garrett Sanford lived in. He had become the new Sandman. He could only come to reality at night or something like that, or could only come through somebody's dreams, things like that. And then eventually, when we get to Neil Gaiman's Sandman, he would sort of explain all that too and make it fit in with the that mythology. But it's issue 49, and then leave series ends with 53. There. That you've been fighting a team of mostly some second generation Injustice Society members there. So of course we now have annuals. Got annual 1. This is where Obsidian and Jade find out who their mother is. Now, if you're following current series of note, so Obsidian would turn out to be gay, and then in the New 52, they they made the only version of Alan Scott, Green Lantern, that was around was young again, and so he didn't have kids, and so they made they had Alan Scott be gay. And then when the New 52 kind of faded and they brought back the older versions, they kept the Alan Scott being gay. He apparently took a while to come to grips with it. And had children, and that was what led to Jade and Obsidian. So that's kind of the progression of things on that. Issue 1, and then the annual 2. This is a crossover with, I believe, Young All-Stars, the book that followed All-Star Squadron in terms of telling stories of World War II DC, the post-crisis version of that. So there is again a matching cover that goes with this one. But this is the Infinity Inc. side of that story. Degaton being a time-traveling villain, so that kind of is how that can work out. And let's see, we've got, so then the name was brought back in the I believe the 52 series, and it was a whole different thing. It was a group of people who are given powers, and they're given powers, I believe, by Luthor, and they're working for him, and it's a whole different story. But Steel is tied up in that, and they had their own series for a while. Issue 8, right there, and then. Issue 9 there, and that series ends with issue 12. Let me get this organized, my camera fixed a little bit, and we didn't really hear from this concept, from this version again, but we do have, there's an Infinity Inc. special. So as I mentioned, now that once we were post-Crisis, they could just team up with anybody fairly easily. And both Infinity Inc. and the Outsiders were hanging out in the Los Angeles area. So they team up, and there's a Outsiders special and this Infinity Inc. special. So, two-part story there. Eduardo Barrito art on that. Let's see, then we have from the New 52, Infinity Man and the Forever People. So the Forever People are Jack Kirby creations that are part of the New Gods saga, and as part of the New 52 they introduced this new version of them that didn't really, the Forever People don't really take off very well anyway, but this version certainly didn't. But these are very powerful individuals from the world of the New Gods. But not only do they have their own powers, but they can merge to form the Infinity Man, a separate being. Issue 1, issue 4. Have an appearance by Bat Cow there. Issue 5, got an appearance by Guy Gardner during his Red Lantern phase there. And then it runs through issue 9. And that is the final issue of that. It did last long enough, or was out long at the right time to get one of the 3D covers. There. 3D color Futures End things. Alright, then another Infinity miniseries, The Hunt. I forget what they were hunting, but they're hunting stuff right there. And that is issue 1 of The Hunt, Infinity The Hunt, through issue 4 of Infinity The Hunt. So if you want to know who's hunting what, pick up your copy of Infinity The Hunt. Then we can go to the second of the big classic. So after Infinity Gauntlet, you had Infinity War. Also, again, with Ron Lim doing art. Every hero currently who is anybody is showing up. And it's all about the Magus, who had appeared in an old Warlock storyline, who is his sort of like all of the evil within himself being pushed out, or not, maybe not even all the evil, but just a certain kind of the certain part of himself being pushed out, and that part turns out to be kind of evil. And so it then creates duplicates, doppelgangers of many of the heroes, and sends the doppelgangers after them, and I don't even remember what he's trying to accomplish. But issue 1, there's the Megas. He had a big old fro in the old series. He's got a kind of a top knot here. And, well, I guess his goal was to get the everybody wants that Infinity Gauntlet, man. It's the coolest thing ever. There, but he will not win in the end. Alright. So, Infinity Warps. So, another Flash, another sort of leveraging that Infinity branding was a series, we'll see it in a second. It's called Infinity Wars. And during the Infinity War, they did this thing where various heroes get merged into one. So you have this combination Squirrel Girl, Moon Girl, combination She-Hulk, Black Widow, combination Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, combination Thing and Human Torch, that sort of thing. That's Infinity. So these are just stories about those characters. Issue 1, we had the Punisher and the Power Pack become the Punisher Pack. Wolverine merged with Emma Frost. We had Kang. We had Ms. Marvel and Kang, so it's Kamala Kang. Had to use her real name there to make the joke work. Not 100% serious, these situations. And then we get some more. What do you get when you combine Spider-Man and Moon Knight? You get Arachnite. So we have 2 issues of Arachnite. Right there. Jackal and Green Goblin together. Let's see. Got Black Panther and Ghost Rider. Make Ghost Panther. There. 1. Can't remember what. I mean, there's obviously some Killmonger. There's some Killmonger, and there's some what's his name? Kill Raven. Kill Raven and Killmonger combined there, I think. Got Thor and Iron Man become Iron Hammer. With Loki and, I guess, Sif. I mean, not Sif. I mean, Loki and Hela getting merged there. Oh, that's issue. Oops, this is backwards. Oops. Gotta fix that. That's the first issue right there. And Doctor Strange and Captain America become Soldier Supreme. Issue 1. Issue 2, Muddock and Modred. Not Modred. Baron. Baron Mordo. Muddock and Mordo get combined there. Let's see. And Weapon Hex. So we have Scarlet Witch and X-23 combined. Just gotta sharpen that up a little bit. And I can't remember who Magic is merged with there. She's obviously part Magic, but I don't remember. Maybe, I don't remember. There. But Gabby, Honey Badger gets merged with Quicksilver. Alright, so that is all coming out of Infinity Wars. which I admit I had a little trouble following at the time, but basically Gamora decides to get the stones, get the stones for herself, and I think they were kind of doing a heel turn for Gamora there, but she kind of turns on everybody. But that's issue 1 through issue 6. Right there. Stan Lee, rest in peace. Then they had some one-shots. Infinity Wars, Fallen Guardian. Right there. And kind of at the start of it, I think, or at the end. I can't remember if this is the beginning, but anyway, or during, whatever. Infinity Wars Prime, one shot. Right there. Then they also gave us a Infinity Wars, a Sleepwalker miniseries. So Sleepwalker was a 90s character. This alien critter kind of pops out of this guy's head when he sleeps and fights crime. You know, as you do. Issue 1. Issue 4. Got some Nick Fury guest starring. There. We have a very recent Infinity Watch series. Various people get, and he's not a person, he's like an android or something, but basically entities get the various get the various Infinity Stones embedded into them and gain powers as a result. We have Misty Knight's partner, whose name I always forget, is one of them. Right there. Issue 1 through issue 5 of that. Colleen Wing, that's her name. Colleen Wing. Alright, so that gets us out of Infinity things. And now we get into Inhuman things. So, in the real world, in the 90s, Marvel was low on money, was about to go bankrupt, and so they sold the movie rights to many of their characters, the X-Men, Spider-Man, to other studios. For example, the X-Men went to Fox. And that is why, you know, if you look, that's why the X-Men have not been in the MCU movies, for example. They're getting it all back now, but that's why, you know, since the 2000s. So, that stayed that way for a while. So there was a high muckety-muck at Marvel in the overall, one of the owners, who said, you know, we need to push other characters instead of the X-Men, because we're not getting, you know, when they make a movie for X-Men, we don't get all that money. We need these other characters to get big so that we can make money from them, because we get 100% of that money. So the idea was they took the Inhumans, who had previously been just this kind of hidden race, and added the idea that some of those Inhumans had left their hidden city and traveled the world, mated with humans. That gene had been passed down, and then for reasons, a bunch of them would suddenly, their descendants would suddenly sprout powers. And that gave us a bunch of people who were kind of like mutants. They didn't have an accident or anything that gave them powers. They just spontaneously gained powers, and they could be a new sort of minority group, and then everybody would just forget about mutants and the X-Men and stuff like that. Well, that absolutely did not work. But the we'd certainly had a big old try at it. So Inhuman is one of the series that kind of takes part in that process. So Inhuman, Charles Soule, Joe Madureira, issue 1, issue 8. Of course, the original Inhumans are all up in this business. Issue 9 there, part of the Axis crossover. Issue 14 right there, which is I believe, the last issue of Inhuman. Yes, by Charles Soule. I think this is another one of those situations where the guy who was sort of constructing the whole thing wanted to do things a certain way, and then Marvel said, well, no, we like the way you're starting, but we're not going to let you finish it the way you want to finish. And so then they walk off the series, or they walk off the concept. That's happened more than once. So then the next alphabetic, that had a annual, sorry. So that had an annual, Inhuman annual number 1. I forget a lot of the details on these. They had a special, which was like a 3-part. There was like a Spider-Man special, and this Inhuman special, and then maybe one other. That was the other part. 3-part story. So then the story continued. Inhumanity. This may be out of order in terms of what order it came out in. It's been a while. By the way, this is Karnak. On Reddit, you will frequently see people pull up like posters and things that were put out in like the 70s with all the Marvel characters, and everybody's always like, who is this guy? And the answer is always Karnak. It's just poor Karnak. He just does not have the same kind of recognition that a lot of the other characters have. But that's Inhumanity 1, Inhumanity 2, there. There's Inhumanity 1 shot with the Superior Spider-Man, which is when Doc Ock gets his brain into the body of Peter Parker. That's the Superior Spider-Man. That's not that story, but and then we have Inhumanity, The Awakening. I was flipping through it, just trying to remember what the heck it was, and it's like a crossover between some of the Inhumans and the Avengers Academy kids. Issue 1, issue 2. There. Got some mutants as well. Alright, then alphabetically speaking, we go back to the actual original Inhumans series. So the Inhumans first appeared in Fantastic Four, early issues of that, and then they were given their own series for a while, after a while. And I don't have a complete run, but I have the ones that I have because they have George Perez, my favorite artist, did the interior art on them, which includes this one right here. Issue 2 through 4. I might have a couple of extras, a couple more. funnily enough, this guy's name is Shatterstar, just like the guy from X-Force. He's the Shatterstar 1. So the X-Force guy is Shatterstar 2. Issue 7. There. Cormac. And issue 10. There. Black Bolt being obviously the big name there. The visually exciting member. Alright, so then they did not have their own series for a very long time. Until the 2000s or so, or whatever, when the Marvel Knights came around. Karnak and brought them back. Issue 1 through issue 4. Sort of like some fake Inhumans there. Then you get to a very special book, issue 5. Issue 5, for some weird reason, is the first appearance of Yelena Belova, also known as the White Widow, or the second Black Widow, depending on how you look at it, as seen in the Black Widow movie and the Thunderbolts movie and stuff like that. She appears for the first time in this series. So I'm assuming that Jenkins, used her here and then he must have written her into the next place she showed up. So that's a big boy book. Let's see. But that's really the only big book in this run. Issue 6. There. Through 12. There. Then that was the end of that series. Then they got a 4-issue series a couple of years later. There, issue 1 through issue 4. Got Ronan the Accuser, as seen in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. MCU fans. And then let's see here. So this next series, not too long after that, kind of a part of a line of books included Runaways and some other things that were trying to. They're called Tsunami. It was I don't know. I guess they were trying to kind of go for a manga crowd or a younger crowd or something like that. So this is sort of the tale of some younger Inhumans that we've never seen before, and what their lives are like, and they come out and come to Earth and are trying to deal with living in our world. And one of the things about Inhumans is that they're born looking fairly normal, human, whatever. And then at a certain age, they undergo the process that gives them their powers, and that process may not come out pretty when that happens. And so that's one of the things. It's a concept that's been brought up before, but this certainly leaned into it, of what happens when you don't come out the other side of the Terrigen mist looking like you would like to look. So issue 1. All the way through issue 12. Not a lot of keys or anything in there, so able to fit it all in one bag. There you go. Then during the Second Secret Wars, there was an Inhumans storyline. Had their own little world, little story being told, alternate kind of version of them. Issue 1. through issue 5 of that. Dr. Doom pulling their strings. Have a few one-shots. Inhumans of Judgment Day. There. Al Ewing. Inhumans, Once and Future Kings. With a Lockjaw bonus story. Lockjaw is their dog who can teleport anywhere. Issue 1. That. Got Inhumans Prime. For those familiar with Ms. Marvel, the Kamala Khan Ms. Marvel, the whole having the genetics of the Inhumans is what gives her, her powers in here. Although later they'll throw in some mutant stuff as well. From 1990 or so, Inhumans: The Untold Saga, a retelling of their background. There's Karnak. That's Karnak. In case you're not sure, that's Karnak. Let's see. True Believers #1, The Inhumans. So this is a reprint. There used to be, they were sharing a book. I don't remember the series. They were sharing a book. With like the Black Widow or something like that. And so this reprints like the first 2 stories from the first 2 issues they were in. So it's not really a direct reprint of just one issue like some of these are. But Karnak, and this was all about when Jack Kirby would have been 100 years old. He was one of the creators of the Inhumans. Let's see. Marvel Knights 2099. So the 2099 concept in general is looking at what the heroes might be like in 2099, the year. And they did it this one particular year. They did just a bunch of one-shots that reimagined. Some of them had been imagined before, and some of them this was the first time. But it's a one-shot looking at what the Inhumans are doing in the year 2099. Then we get to Inhumans versus X-Men. So you have all these people that have that genetics, and they're just walking around, no powers or anything. This material called Terrigen is what transforms Inhumans and gives them their actual powers, and a big cloud of Terrigen goes floating through the world, and giving the people with those genetics their superpowers. The problem is that it is actually deadly for mutants if they breathe it. So the Inhumans kind of want to let it go and get it more Inhumans generated. The X-Men want to stop it because it's harmful to mutants. So the Inhumans and X-Men find themselves at cross purposes, which is kind of ironic, seeing as how, of course, the whole reason the Inhumans are being pushed is because somebody wants them to take the place of the X-Men. So that's issue 0 there. That's issue 1 of the main series. And then that runs through issue 6 right there. So that gets us through all the Inhuman stuff. I was not a big somehow I ended up with a couple of these things. So Injustice started off as a video game, and it's kind of an excuse for the heroes to fight heroes. And the backstory is, if I understand correctly, like the Joker killed Lois Lane, so Superman killed the Joker, so then all the heroes kind of get into two camps over whether that was the right thing to do. And Superman becomes kind of a tyrant, and so there's a whole comic book series about, with the backstory filling in the story of the game, and this is, the second series, issue, annual number 2 right there. Like I say, I'm not sure if I clicked the wrong button somewhere along the line when I was ordering comics. And then this one was similar, just to give sometimes I'll get stuff again to get just a taste of how things are. Sometimes the intercompany crossovers are a good way to get a taste of it without committing. So this accomplishes both of them. So Injustice versus Masters of the Universe. Just getting a taste of both of those things. Issue 1 through issue 6. Of course, the fun part about this is DC has Shazam, who is a boy who says a word and turns into, a superhero. And He-Man, or the Masters of the Universe, has He-Man, who's a guy who holds a sword up and is transformed into, and says a word. I don't know which part, how much of that is important, but says something and gets transformed. So here they're kind of transformed into one creature there. So that part's clever. Then we have Interface number 1. I remember nothing about Interface. Picked it up in a $1 box at some point, I'm sure, and whatever happens in it did not stick in my mind. I'm telling you. Then we have International Iron Man number 1. It's kind of ran during the same time as Infamous Iron Man. So while Dr. Doom was pretending to be Iron Man, you had Tony Stark kind of traveling the world, I guess. Both were written by Brian Michael Bendis. That's issue 1. And that actually ends with issue 7. And then we go to the Invaders. So, this is a team-up book of Captain America, Namor, Human Torch, Bucky, and Toro, who were really, Marvel published these superheroes during World War II. If you're familiar with the All-Star Squadron, this is the equivalent at Marvel. They just didn't have as many of them. They team up, and Roy Thomas wrote both. He was a big World War II fan, World War II superhero fan, so he did this series for Marvel. They debuted officially in Giant Size Invaders number 1, and as I understand it, they were just going to have a giant size book like every quarter, but then the decision was made to turn it back into a regular series. So this is issue 1, and some people, for some reason, I saw this marked as a key somewhere as the first appearance of Invaders, but that's not right, because Giant Size Invaders would be their first appearance. So there you go. Then we've got issue 2 there. Our Heroes versus Donar, King of Storm, God of Storms. Issue 4, going up against U-Man, Underwater Man. There. Got the issue 5. Of course, they've got to fight the Red Skull. I worry about Bucky. He seems to be jumping off that balcony, and I don't know. He's just gonna fall. That doesn't seem safe. Don't do that, Bucky. Issue 8, introducing a new, retroactively speaking, British superhero, the Union Jack. Be a part of the, he doesn't join, but he, they meet him here. There you go. And got issue 9, Union Jack helping the team against Baron Blood, the Nazi vampire. Yep. Right there. Baron Blood will actually keep turning up. Issue 11. Got the Invaders fighting the Blue Bullet. The Jack Kirby cover art. Jack Kirby doing several of the covers on here. Then we have issue 12 with the first appearance of Spitfire, female speedster. She gets her speed powers from a blood transfusion from the Human Torch, who is an android. I don't know. I didn't think he would have blood. But he does, and his blood will give her super speed powers. So there you go. Maybe she's an Inhuman. But anyway, issue 12 of that. Or mutant, or maybe a mutant. Issue 13. There, the Golem strikes. Issue 15. Okay, so this is kind of a funny thing. I mentioned this when we were looking in the F's at Freedom Fighters. So the Crusaders here are takeoffs of DC's Freedom Fighters. So you have equivalent to Black Condor, the Ray, Human Bomb, Uncle Sam. Got all of them that are on the cover. So they could have kind of an unofficial team up of each company's, at the time, their World War II oriented heroes that were currently in publication with their own books and things like that. So, and these characters would actually get kind of, used beyond there. This guy would go on to become one of the replacement Captain Americas after Cap disappears. After the war, that kind of thing. He's the only one, I think, that gets used. 16. Masterman. I remember when I was a kid, right? And I always thought it was weird. So, Toro is Human Torch's sidekick, but he wears just like shorts like the Human Torch. So I always thought he ought to be the Human Torch's sidekick or something like that when I was a little kid. Issue 16 there. Issue 18. Mighty Destroyer comes in, another Marvel class. I don't think he's original. I don't think he's a retcon. I think that was an original character. There. Got issue 19 with old Uncle Adolf on the cover, and it has a cameo of the next Union Jack. So the Union Jack that we already met is not going to make it, so he's going to get replaced. And issue 20, which the ad for this issue shows up in a lot of books around that time, and I always remember seeing that and thinking that, you know, it looked really cool. But we've got Spitfire and Union Jack hanging out with the Invaders in this issue. Issue 20. Issue 24. So this was, they must have fallen behind on the deadlines. And so this, despite the fact nothing about this cover has anything to do with inside. Inside is a story, a reprint of the original story where the Human Torch and the Submariner first fought, because they did not get along when they first met. Deadlines will get you. 25. We have the advent of the Scarlet Scarab. This used to be a big deal book because the female character from the Moon Knight TV series was said to be the Scarlet Scarab, and so people who saw the show thought, well, okay, well, I have to have, you know, the first appearance of the whatever version of that there is, but that didn't last very long because she's got nothing. I mean, there's really no connection other than the name and maybe ethnicity. So that's issue 25. Issue 28. This is not my original copy, I don't think, but boy, this is one of my original ones. And you know, I already kind of liked the Teen Titans, and that's what we've got here. Is the Kid Commandos. Got Bucky and Toro with some new, younger heroes to becoming a little team of their own. So that was pretty exciting right there. I don't know why they did Kid Commandos when they already had the name Young Allies lying around, but c'est la vie. It is what it is. 29. We've got the almost origin of the Invaders, so maybe kind of a flashback right there. 32. You know, Thor, in theory, was around, you know, so they summon him, or Uncle Adolf summons him, and he's German, you know, and the Norse is Teutonic, and there's more of a connection, and but he, you know, he gets freed up, and then he kind of forgets, or I don't know how I can't remember how they resolve the fact that, you know, they don't recognize each other. Now, sidebar, my copy of this book, which I used to have an ugly, bad copy, and I recently got this improved copy, better condition. But my copy says J3508 on the barcode, and I don't know what that is. It looks like it's printed on there. If anybody out there knows what the situation is that led to numbers being, you know, J3508 being printed over the barcode on this book, please let me know. It's a mystery. 33, continuing the battle with Thor, and it's her brother who has taken over as Union Jack, in case that wasn't clear. 37, battle with Iron Cross. There. 38. We're teaming up with Miss America and the Wizard. Two actual World War II Marvel timely as they were called back then, characters. A speedster. She has kind of reality warping powers, and she can fly, and she's strong and all that good stuff. Everybody makes fun of the name the Whizzer. I know it's supposed to, but I don't have a problem with the Whizzer. He whizzes around. It's whizzing is still, I think it's legitimate. But anyway, so that's 38 and 41 is the final issue. Knock 'em, sock 'em, fight 'em. We will see, or we may have already seen at the time that this came out. They were Whizzer and Miss America had shown up in the Avengers, and it was considered that maybe they were thought to be the parents of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, because Quicksilver runs and he runs, and Scarlet Witch has kind of reality shifting powers, and she kind of does too. So, but we would shift over to Magneto being the parent, and then Magneto not being the parent, and then I lose track of it myself. And then they have an annual. This is another book that I had when I was a kid. This is an Alex Schomburg. Schomburg was a classic, timely Marvel artist from the 1940s. So he's coming back and doing this work in the 1970s, and beautiful stuff. Back in 1977, and just cool stuff. And it's just a cool story inside as well. And here's one of the things that happens in here. So there had been an Avengers story where the Avengers get thrown backwards in time to World War II, and they run into Captain America, Submariner, and Human Torch, and they and Captain America has got his triangular shield in that story, which was kind of didn't make sense from a time frame of everything else that had been established. Everything else had shown that he'd kind of gotten rid of the triangular shield pretty early. And so one of the things they do in this book, and this is Roy Thomas doing his continuity thing, is in the course of the story, Cap loses his round shield, and then he picks back up the triangular one just to have something to use, and then bloop, here come the Avengers. So we're seeing it from their side of the story, and then he finishes out the story, and then he picks up his round shield again or whatever. So Roy Thomas killing himself, getting it all to fit. But that's what I like. I like it when they try to do that. So anyway, that is all for this box. Okay, so that was box 85. Next time we'll do box 86. We'll do a little bit more Invaders. We'll do some Invincible things, and we'll get into some Iron things, ending with a little bit of course, the most famous Iron thing, Iron Man. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a great day.